Welcome everyone. I, CHRE Atul Shah, on behalf of Professional Skill Enrichment Committee ICEI, welcome all the participants in the today's webcast Outfit That Speak Before You Do. I welcome today's resource person, Mrs. Ranjana Sen, and others present over here. Before welcoming her and she taking up the podium, I formally introduce her. She has over 28 years of experience in talent development, talent management, and organizational development, holding leadership roles at organizations like Titan, Reliance, House of Anita Dongre, Wokhard, etc. So she specialized in facilitation, competency development, and assessment of center talent review in and has also received the Vivekanand National Award for her contribution to HR and training. An expert in experiential learning and simulation-based training, she is certified in Assessment Development Center from PV Rao Learning System, PPA practitioner, and behavioral interviewing skill from Thomas International. Additionally, she is an ICF accredited Ericsson certified coach. With this brief introduction, I welcome you, ma'am, and now the floor is all open for your dedication.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much, Jami, for this wonderful introduction. Good evening to all of you. I hope I am audible to all. Okay. Let's begin then. I will first share the presentation and then we start. Just a moment. Is the screen visible now to everyone? Um,
Yeah, screen is visible.
okay. I'll go into full screen mode. Okay. So today the topic that we are going to talk about is outfit that speaks before you do. So once again, good evening, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to join this session. In today's fast paced corporate world where meetings are virtual, our teams are very diverse, and the first impression are often digital. How we present ourselves has never been more important. Now, imagine you walk into a boardroom and there are two professionals waiting for you. One in a very crisp shirt, well polished shoes, and carries themselves with confidence. The other in a very wrinkled outfit, shoes unkept, and look very distracted. Now, whom would you want to talk? Or whom would you want to take your business to? Or whom would you take seriously? Even before a single word is spoken. And that's the power of your outfit. Whether you are meeting a client in Mumbai or you are presenting to your leadership team in Bangalore or on a Zoom call with some global client somewhere in the world, your appearance is silently communicating your credibility. And let's talk about why does this session matters. So this session matters because firstly, career growth. Now leaders are often remembered not only for what they deliver but also how they show up, presence, then their grooming, attire, and overall appearance. And that plays a big role as your performance is creating a lasting impression. When we dress or groom thoughtfully, it is not just about showing respect to yourself, but it is also about respecting your client, your colleagues, and the occasion for which you have dressed up. Showing up appropriately signal that we value the culture and people around us. It is also about your own personal brand. every professional, every professional has a brand, right? And you would like to be remembered by the brand that you represent. Now, before you speak, people read your appearance. Even if you have said hello, people understand your appearance, clothes, grooming, and from the visible layer, and that from the visible layer of what is you as a brand. So these are the reason why this session matters. What are we going to cover in this session? We are going to cover uh, why our outfit matters first. Then we are going to cover, is the screen visible to all of you? Suddenly it disappeared for me. So okay, so we were back. Why your outfit matters as a professional. The key elements to always look professional, how to dress for success, how grooming and etiquette can shape not just you, but your entire team's culture. Right. Now, what this session would not do, this session won't be about fashion trends. It's about actionable, practical ways in which you can strengthen your professional image in the Indian corporate environment. So let's begin with the foundation of why our outfit matters more than you realize in your career. Right? So we start with why our outfit matters as a professional. We start by talking about the first impression. Okay. So when you meet somebody, you form a first impression. So let's talk about that. You know, if once a senior HR leader once told me when two equally competitive candidates are up for promotion, the one who looks the part often gets it. And it is not because of any favoritism, but because the appearance creates a perception of readiness for the responsibility. And each one of us walk into a meeting room where somebody's presence immediately demands respect. The person hasn't spoken as yet, but still, because of the way they are dressed, have been groomed, immediately you feel a respect towards that person. And the impacts comes from the grooming, the outfit, and the body language. Now, talking about the first impression, it takes just about 7 seconds, only 7 seconds, to form the first impression. And the first impression process occurs in every new situation, right? Whenever you are meeting the person for the first time. So people assess your visual and behavioral appearance from head to toe. They observe your appearance, mannerism, and body language, and even they check your grooming. And within the first few seconds, they would have formed an opinion about who you are as a person and what kind of brand you represent. Uh, 55% based on the appearance and body language, people forms an perception or opinion. 38% on tone and voice, and only 7% is formed by the words. Client often equates polished appearance with competence. And that's a normal psychological behavior any human being should. Leaders are judged not just on the output, but on their executive presence. So, the key point to remember here is your outfit speaks before you do. So, let us see some example from the corporate India and in different industries how one must dress. Okay, let's talk about firstly, we were going to talk about the banking and consulting, okay, as an industry. Now, In the banking and in the financial services, the first and foremost, a relationship manager, let's say in an HDFC or an ICICI bank, who are dealing with our own personal finances and business finances, they are expected to dress in a crisp formal when meeting high value clients. A wrinkled shirt or a mismatched tie can make client doubt their seriousness about managing their money. So you are handing over money to somebody, and if they don't look professional, then you don't want to trust them with your money. So in BFSI sector, your attire is directly linked to the trust and credibility that you are able to build. Coming to ITs and startup, now we may think that startup is all about being casual, but let me assure you that recently in a Bangalore startup pitch event, two founders presented back to back. Now, the first one was in a very smart, clean blazer, clean shoes, and looked very confident. The second one had a brilliant idea but wore a casual hoodie, jeans, and a slippers. Now, investor later admitted that consciously or not, the first founder appeared more investment ready. Same ideas, what they got was a different perspective, perspectives, and just because of how they were attired. Now let's come to another medium which is very common in today's world, like today, a virtual meeting. Okay, so very important to be camera ready. Now during the pandemic, this virtual meetings become a norm. Okay, and let's say an IT project manager, let's say sitting in Pune, is presenting a client in US. Now he logs in wearing a plain t-shirt, hairs uncombed. The client came asking, am I dealing with a junior resource? Because my attire is not giving that confidence to the client. Next week, the same manager wore a collared shirt, looked well groomed, and spoke with confidence. And the difference in client's attitude was striking. They immediately treated him as a leader. So that is the importance of having a well-groomed look. And this is what corporate India looks for, whether it is banking, IT, or hybrid or remote. Okay. Even the global colleagues, in case of a formal meeting, may interpret you as too casual and not too serious if you are not groomed well, even in a virtual meeting. Now, if you look at these two pictures, whom would you like to do business with? Now, see, if you look at this picture very carefully, I'll just remove this. Now, whom would you like to do the business with? Now, obviously, everybody would say that I would like to do the business with the first person who is wearing a shirt, tie, trouser, and the second one in a very casual attire and a leather jacket. Incidentally, both of these persons are same. It is just the attire that is making a difference in their appearance. So let's understand what are the key elements to always look professional. We will start by the clothing etiquette or a dress code for a male in corporate. The first and the foremost is what works instead of jeans and t-shirts is simple shirts and trousers. If you are wearing a simple full sleeve shirts and not an half sleeves one, and a light colored shirt and a dark colored trouser, you cannot go really wrong in your dress code in any organization. So it's a simple shirt and trouser. Make sure the colors are coordinated. No jarring colors, no dark colors. Okay, no mismatched colors. Okay. And like I said, it has to be a light colored shirt with a dark trouser or a dark colored shirt with a light trouser. What does not go is a designer shirt in a work environment. Second, prefer a plain cotton or linen wrinkle-free shirts in neutral colors. So what works is not checks, plaids, etc., but plain cotton or linen shirt, preferably wrinkle-free. The reason being that after spending maybe 5, 6, 8 hours in an office, if the shirt looks crumpled and then you have a meeting, then it will not really look nice. The shirt should be properly tucked into the trouser for professional look. Prefer a full shirt at workplace. Unless it's a casual day, it has to be a full sleeve shirt. And rolled up sleeve is not looked up upon. So your sleeve should be full and should be buttoned down. In the organization where wearing a tie is a culture, silk tie looks best on professional. So don't go for designer ties. The tie should either be too short or too long, and the tip of the tie ideally should touch the bottom of the belt. Now, if you look at this picture here, I'll just move this, okay, and you will see that the tip of the tie is touching the belt, okay, bottom of the belt. That should be the length of the tie. Uh, and the slim ties, these are normal, ordinary ties, and slim ties are not meant for office. In fact, in giving an example from one of the bigger corporates, Tata Steel corporate office, dark blue gray suits are the norm. Okay. And every senior executive, even in a very humid condition, okay, they wear suits. Only thing that is saving grace is the light cotton shirts underneath to make it bearable. Moving on, we continue with the dress code etiquette. Now we talk about the other part. We talked about clothes, the shirt, tie. Then we talk about the other things which are also comes into the category of accessories, which is shoes, belts. Uh, Wear leather belts to work, preferably in black and brown shades. Do not wear belts with flashy and broad buckles. Socks must be well coordinated with the outfit. Now, why is socks a very important piece of accessory for men? The reason being, when a man sits and the trouser lifts a bit up, the socks is visible. The socks also makes a statement, hence it should be well coordinated with the outfit. Uh, Many shoes when you're walking make some kind of a noise, so don't wear shoes that makes noise while walking. Prefer soft leather shoes in black or brown color. Make sure, this is very, very important, that shoes are polished and laces properly tied. Never wear sports shoes or sneakers to work unless it is a casual Friday or on a holiday when you are going back to office, or it's a company outbound. Otherwise, sports shoes are no in most organizations. For men, it is very important for looking groomed to shave properly and use a proper aftershave, so that and make sure that the skin does not look dry or flaky. Now, one important thing is body odor. It's a big turn off. So one must always smell good in public, but at the same time, not smell like a bouquet. Hence, use a mild perfume or deodorant. In fact, that made me remember that, once a very senior manager in Wipro said that I can excuse a missed tie, but never a dusty shoes. So, because it shows the lack of discipline. So, that is the importance of wearing a proper polished shoes. So, these are some of the key tips for how the male should be groomed. Now, let's talk about the females. that what are the clothing etiquette or dress code for female in corporate India. First is prefer salwar suits or kurtis, okay, with jackets in neutral or pastel shades for daily office wear. Western formals such as shirts, blouses with trousers, or uh, pencil skirts are also appropriate. Avoid flashy party wear styles. Always ensure outfits are neat, well ironed, and wrinkle free. Colors are very important. Choose subtle tones like white, beige, navy, gray, or light pastels. Avoid any bright or neon shade. The fabric should be cotton, linen, or light blends for comfort in Indian weather. Avoid very shiny or transparent material. Saris. Now, in Indian context, it is a very okay thing to wear a sari. So, prefer a cotton, silk, or blended formal saris. What should be avoided is sequins, glitter, or heavy embroidery for work dress. And saris, one of the most important factor to remember is when you're draping a sari, it should be neat and secure. A salwar suits or kurti is well fitted, not too loose, not too tight. Scarf should be draped neatly, not hanging messily. Western formals, blouses should not be low cut, skirts, ideally knee length or longer, and with a pair them with a blazer for formal occasion. So, for as far as clothing is concerned, these are some of the clothing etiquettes for a woman or a female. Let's talk about clothing etiquette dress code for female. Now we move on to the accessories part. First is the shoes. Closed shoes, flats, pumps, or low heels are preferred. Avoid flashy, noisy, or casual fit footwear like flip flops. If you notice that everywhere what is no is the footwear that makes sounds, noise, okay, and at the same time it should be very clean and nicely maintained. As a woman, accessories should and can be worn, but keep the jewelry to minimum because this is office, not a party. Hence, a small stud, a thin chain, a watch. What should be avoided is chunky or flashy ornaments, and bags should be structured and professional. Hair and grooming. Hair should be clean, neatly styled, or tied back. Avoid messy buns or over elaborate hairstyles. Makeup, if used, should be subtle, professional, no loud makeup. Nail polish should be neutral or light shade and not chipped. Fragrances, use mild fragrances. Strong fragrances should be avoided in uh, the office setting. So, just to give an example, during a client presentation in Gurgaon, now the manager, a lady, was wearing a flashy diamond-studded watch. Now, while she was making the presentation, the watch became more distraction than her ideas. And the client, this is what the client expressed that I remembered the watch and not what she was presenting. In most offices, there will be casual days, which essentially mean one can dress for a casual Friday, whether it is men or women. But in case of women prefer smart casual like collared top, chinos, or formal jeans with blouse. What is a no-no is ripped jeans, t-shirts with slogans, or party tops. There is something called as corporate colors. Not every color is meant for corporate world. So, what are corporate colors? First is stick to neutral tones like white, navy, gray, black, beige, or any other pastel shades. These are called as corporate colors. What should be avoided? Flashy colors, neon greens, bright orange, and distracting patterns. Fabrics in climate Indian climate, cotton, linen, and blends work better than polyester. So the fabric preferred in Indian climate is cotton linen or a blend so that it doesn't crush. We talk about something called as personal hygiene. So till now we have been talking about what we should wear into the corporate world. But beyond that also there is something called as personal hygiene. A good personal hygiene is a sign of professionalism and attention to detail. Now, it shows that you take your job and people around you seriously. Health and safety, maintaining good personal hygiene can help prevent the spread of germs and illness, especially post COVID when people have become more aware. And hence, it reduces the risk of outbreak in the workplace. Because in the workplace, we all are cloistered in a closed environment with AC. And if one person is not well, then he or she is likely to spread the disease to others. Workplace image, personal hygiene particularly if the employees are interacting with the client or customer. A clean and well groomed appearance can convey a positive image of the business. The other reason is that the comfort. Now, good personal hygiene can make the workplace more comfortable for everyone. Poor hygiene, when a person is smelling or it has an unpleasant body odor, it causes discomfort to the colleagues. Uh, and last but not the least, why a personal hygiene is important is productivity. Good personal hygiene can help improve productivity by reducing the number of sick days and absenteeism and improving overall health and well being of a person. So, what should be done? Bathe or shower regularly, have a clean hair, wear clean clothing, keep your nails clean, maintain a good oral hygiene, limit strong smelling scents, stay home when you are sick. So, these are some of the guidelines that one must follow to ensure that in workplace a proper personal hygiene is maintained. Let's talk about other small things that make a big difference. One part which spoke about is your clothing, what or how you should wear. We talked about your accessories. Then we had also talked about the personal hygiene that must be maintained. Let's talk about small things like so when you are in the workplace, you are no longer in the college, you need to carry a folder or a laptop bag. No crumpled backpacks. So backpacks are no mostly in the corporate world. ID cards on a neat lanyard, not dangling messily. Even a casual Friday, smart casuals like polo shirts, chinos, loafers, not ripped jeans or flip flops. So, when you dress for a day out, when you are dressing for your office, these are the five quick checks that you must make. First, outfit check. Okay. So, first is outfit. Is my shirt, sari, kurti, trouser neat, wrinkle free, and well fitted? Are the colors professional? By professional, we mean neutral, pastel, not flashy or neon colors. Second, we talk about grooming check. Grooming comes from your hair. Is it neatly styled or tied back? Nails cleaned and trimmed, no chipped polish. Face fresh, subtle makeup if used. Third check that ensure that you have a professional look is shoes and accessories check. Shoes polished and formal, not casual and dirty. Belt, watch, and jewelry simple and coordinated. Bags or folder neat and not shabby. The fourth point, we spoke about three: hygiene and the fragrance. Breathe fresh deodorant used, breath freshener, and the deodorant is used. Perfume is subtle and not overpowering. Confident check. So finally, you check on whether the shirt is properly tucked, sari is neatly draped, tie, scarf, dupatta in place, stand tall, smile, and carry yourself with presence. So, what overall this talks about is the how your outfit, from your clothing to your grooming to your shoes and accessories to hygiene, ensure that you are confident and you are able to carry yourself well. Let's talk about the key takeaway from this. Now, if you can tick off all these five quick checks that we just discussed every morning, you will always step into the work looking professional, credible, and ready for success. Because people start believing in you even before you start talking, or even if you start pitching your ideas, or even before you start making a presentation, just by the way you look and carry yourself. You carry yourself well when you look professional. And when how to look professional is what we just discussed through wearing proper clothing, grooming, um, ensuring that your personal hygiene is maintained, using proper shoes, accessories, okay, and that will lead into confidence and then result into your success. Also, very important fact: dressing professionally is about respect for your work. You know, you have to respect the job that you are doing. How do you show that? By taking that extra effort in dressing well and not dressing scruffily for your and it also conveys your brand. Now just imagine in any corporate environment there are so many people. Now if you stand out where looking scruffy, that is the kind of respect that the people will have for you. It's not about wearing expensive clothes but about consistency, neatness, and appropriateness. Okay? So nobody is talking about here that you have to buy some branded clothes, but whatever you wear has to be consistent, neat, and appropriate for the occasion. Think of your outfit as your business card. Right? What does a business card do? It tells the people who you are, and your outfit does the same thing. Okay, even before they read your resume, you're going for an interview. Even before you submit your resume, people look through it and started talking. Your grooming would have done a lot for you already. So it tells how seriously people should take you. So this is about appearances. So it tells about your professionalism, your level of sophistication, your intelligence, your attitude, and your standard of service. Next thing that we are going to talk about is outfit that are meant for success. First is that dressing for the occasion. Now, in an office environment, also, there are different occasions that are presented. Most of the days are regular day, but then there are days when there are important meeting, board meeting, client presentation. Now, in board meeting or client presentation, choose tailored and polished look. Okay. Uh, the second picture here is about the interview. Okay. Now, you go for interview, you go slightly more formal than in the company now. For example, your company where you are currently working may not be wearing a tie every day, but every time you go for an interview, it's a good thing to do to wear a tie. Though you might look slightly overdressed, but it is good to err in the side of slightly overdressing by wearing a tie and not going to an organization where everybody is in tie and you go to an interview without a tie. The third picture is of casual Fridays, comfortable but still professional. Um, you know, in a meeting, like in a board meeting, I remember in one of the sessions, the client once wore a flashy tie with cartoon prints. Now it stole the attention from the pitch that the person was making, and the board remembered the tie and not the message. So basically, when you wear something flashy, you are distracting from the message that you are trying to convey. Now, you may want to type it in your chat windows, the awkward outfit moments. Now, what is the most awkward outfit you have seen? Okay. This is just an example, but still, in spite of our knowing what is the norm, people sometimes do wear awkward outfits. So, this is just for you to remember and think over that have you noticed anybody in in a professional environment in an awkward outfit. Now we are going to talk about power dressing. Now clothing influence confidence. Just look at the first person. He is neatly dressed, but it is not corporate formals. So what happens is, and in the second picture, the person is dressed in a shirt, coat, and trouser. Okay. So when you wear a structured piece like a jacket, a crisp shirt, and a polished shoes, it boosts presence. One manager I know shifted from blending it to power dressing. So earlier the person was not into power dressing, but then the person realized the importance of power dressing and started dressing in a very formal manner with coat, tie, shirt, and everybody started noticing this person and had more respect and engagement on the meet, right? So the moment you are dressed in a certain manner for a presentation, people just simply notice you, they want to listen to you, they want to hear you. And imagine in a crowd where there are so many people, what will hold the people's attention is the way that you are dressed. That is the importance of power dressing. So when you are not dressed in a very, casual, loose-fitted clothing, but you are dressed in a sharp cuts, okay, polished shoes, it adds something which is called as power dressing. Okay. Now let's talk about virtual meeting. In today's world, post-COVID, lot of and having a virtual meeting is a very, very common scenario. We often have virtual meetings across, right? Now, very importantly, though it is a virtual meeting, but though you might be working from home or working from anywhere in a cafe or somewhere, your virtual presence is as real as being in the office. So, virtually, though you may not be in office, but in a meeting also, virtually you are there. And what you wear signals your professionalism. Avoid clothes with loud prints or colors. Uh, they distract the camera, right? And stick to solid, neutral, and subtle patterns. Funnily, during COVID, there were a lot of such incidents where people would sit in their bed, lie, and take calls. But that's a absolute no-no during the virtual meeting. Background matters too. Now, here the picture I have given is this background. Now, suppose you are taking a call, and this is the first one, is the one, the background that is shown. That will create a very wrong impression about you as a professional. While you might think that so what, it is my personal space, but it creates a wrong impression about you as an individual. Hence, your ideal scenario is to put a background, right? So, background like this, which ensures that the clutter that is there behind is not seen. The rule of dressing in virtual meeting is the golden rule is dress as if you were in a meeting, uh, and you are in a meeting with your team or manager and or a client person. From waist up, the camera sees everything, right? So from the waist up, whether you so you can wear a coat, tie, or formals. For example, in one of the meeting that I attended, one person came wearing a workout hoodie during a leadership call, and where we were all presenting. Now it shifted the focus from their message that the person was trying to deliver. While nobody said anything, but others were not comfortable, neither was the person looked up as a leadership material. Hence, it is very important that even in a virtual setting, you dress for the part, right? Whether the virtual meeting is a client presentation or whether the virtual meeting is a meeting for giving an interview. This is a small case study. Let's imagine this scenario that what could have gone wrong. So, an employee showed up at a corporate gala in sneakers and jeans. Uh, Now, what is a gala? Gala is a formal evening, a dinner and drink kind of an evening, which many organizations host to either celebrate their annual day or they host for if they get an award or if they host if there is some dignitary visiting. Generally, in a corporate gala, the dress codes are mentioned. Mostly, it is black tie, uh, or a tailcoat or a formal kind of a scenario. Uh, in all corporate gala, one has to dress very formally in coat tie, formal setting. So, if a person now in such a formal setting turns up wearing a sneaker and jeans, they lost credibility instantly and weren't invited to the client function again. So, what would you advise them to wear instead? Ideally, you should advise them to wear a smart formals because the occasion demands it. While in office, one can wear neutral, may or may not wear a jacket, but if it is a corporate gala, then and the requirement is to wear uh, the jacket, tie, or a bow tie, or a tailcoat that must be adhered to. So, what is the key takeaway from this part of the session? Firstly, dress for the occasion. So, when we say dress for the occasion, whether it is corporate boardrooms, whether it is interview, whether it is casual Friday, whether it is corporate gala, in each scenario, you have to have a different dress code. Same dresses or same code cannot be applied to different occasion in the corporate world. Power dressing is for dressing for presence, which means that you dress in a manner that people want to listen to you, people want to look up to you. So that's what is a power dressing. And the third part we discussed here is about the virtual part. In a virtual meeting scenario, whether it is a professional meeting or whether it is an interview, professionals must be camera ready. So these are the key points to remember. That is dressing for the occasion. Power dressing is equal to power presence. Virtual is equal to professional and camera ready. Moving on to the next part, which is etiquette through grooming and team culture. One part we have been discussing from last some few 1 hour is about the dressing part of it. One is what should we dress and how we should dress differently for different occasion. Beyond that also, okay, there is a question of when you are in the corporate, it is also about building your network. Now let's understand what is networking. Networking and building relationship are essential skills for professional and personal success, because you are, see, any corporate career lasts for almost 40 years, and the networks that you build stays with you all through your career. You do not know whom you are going to need when, or whom you are going to interact with in what scenario, and that is the most important part of building your career. So I will just reshare. Yeah. So we were talking about the importance of networking, right? So workplace etiquette beyond dressing to build that network. Now, networking and building relationship are very essential because it ensures that you are successful in the corporate. It ensures that when you are in the trouble, whom are you going to reach out to? It ensures that who is going to support you when you need that. And fourthly, in, like I said, it is a career span is 40 years. And in this career span of 40 years, how are you going to leverage this network? Because it is ultimately the network that takes you to different places, right? One part is, of course, your skill, but skill alone in today's connected world will not take you very far. Okay. So what you need is a network. It kind of gives you a boost to the skill that you already have. Okay. So there are certain etiquettes that ensure that you are able to build a better network. Network involves making connection with people in your industry or profession, while building relationship involving nurturing those connections over time to create and trust goodwills. So, you build a relationship or a professional relationship with someone today, and it is going to last for you for a next 30, 40 years. And for making this, ensuring that you have this network, uh, you have to make a very good first impression. Like if you remember in the beginning, we discussed that you make your first impression within the first 7 seconds. So it is a very good thing to make the very good first impression, both personal and professional setting. Uh, Beyond, so this is beyond your dressing. Okay, we are going to talk about firstly two things. We are going to talk about verbal and the non-verbal elements of your personality that is going to impact, right? So, workplace etiquette beyond dressing. Uh, Now, how do we communicate to the larger world, right? You are very well dressed. Now, till now, what we have talked about is we are dressed very well. Because you are dressed well, you have made the first impression. You are dressed for the occasion. Okay. Next thing that you do is you speak, right? That's the verbal, that's the word that you are saying. Uh, then the second part is called as paraverbal. Okay. Uh, So, paraverbal, let's first define this word paraverbal. Now, paraverbal communication refers to non-verbal elements of a spoken language that convey meaning beyond the word themselves, right? It includes aspects such as tone, pitch, volume, spacing, and emphasis, which can all affect the message being conveyed. Okay. For example, let's say the way someone speaks can convey emotions such as anger, sadness, excitement, even if the word being used do not explicitly express these emotions. Similarly, the tone of the voice can convey whether a statement in question or command or a statement of fact. Okay. Uh, So, for example, if the same thing is said in a very high pitch, it almost feel that the person is shouting. A calm tone, brings for any conversation, cools, even if it's a very agitated discussion that is happening, it brings down the heat of the moment. The third thing is, verbal, paraverbal communication is important in any interpersonal communication, and it can significantly impact how messages are received and understood by others. Effective communication requires not only careful selection of word but also consideration of paraverbal element. So, to ensure that the message is being conveyed accurately and appropriately. So, words, while they are important, how the words are presented is conveyed through paraverbal. Okay. Uh, Now, if the speed is again one very important element of paraverbal is speed. Now, if the speed is very high, speed means how fast or how slow a person speaks. If the speed is very high, then the other person may miss out on something on the entire conversation. And also, it will seem that the person is in hurry and wants to finish off quickly. Okay. Uh, Now, if you see this graph here, any kind of communication between two people is, two or more than two people has three elements to it. One is the words that you use. What are you speaking? Your syllable, your words. It is only 7%. Your voice, when I say voice, which means the pitch, the tone, and the speed. These three together comes under the voice, right? Which is your paraverbal, comes is, conveys the emotion that you want to convey through words, and it is about 39% weightage. And the non-verbal, which essentially means body language, eye contact, we will go into detail of that, comprises of 54%. Right. So the major focus on any communication that you are having, whether you just say good morning or good evening or how are you, also depends upon the how this is phrased, how this is said, with what pitch, tone, and speed. And of course, there is a written communication. When we say written, it could be your email, even it's your WhatsApp message. It is also considered as a formal communication in today's world. Uh, Next, I'm going to talk about a bit about the non-verbal communication. Why the non-verbal communication is important? It is because it covers 54% of the all the communication. So first is the eye contact. Now, when you are speaking to somebody, uh, how do the person knows that you are speaking to that person and not to somebody else? Is when you maintain a smooth pattern of eye contact. That is necessary to maintain a satisfactory communication. Eye contact implies we are giving another other person our undivided attention. We will also become more believable. People will feel more confident that we are talking to them. Now, see, in today's world, what happens is that we are so busy with our electronic devices, while it's a mobile or a laptop. Most of the time, we look at our laptop, we look at our mobile, and then we speak to another person, which makes the person feel that they do not have our undivided attention. And to uh, did somebody say something, or should I continue? Um, Okay. So the eye contact implies that we are giving another person an undivided attention. However, what is a no-no is prolonged looking at opposite person. You look at them. That is more like staring. Okay? A deliberate, deflected gaze. It involves a degree of intimacy or lack of it, right? So basically, the eye contact should be maintained, but for a proper duration of time to imply that whom you are talking to. Right? The second important aspect of non-verbal, behavior is your life space, distancing life space. Now, when you are talking to someone, okay. Now here I'm assuming you have learned how to dress properly. Now you are speaking to someone. Okay. Each one of us has our own personal space. Personal space, we have about 2 meters, about 500 meters space, which we call our own personal space. Uh, and places where we are not able, and we don't like people coming into our personal space. In a crowded bus or a train where we are not able to maintain this personal space, what we do is that uh, so what we do is we avoid eye contact because there is no space. So what we do is we avoid eye contact. This is a part of the reason why people rarely make eye contact in a public transport where there are a lot of people. And but again, this all differs from culture to culture. How Latin American or Arab or Asian behaves, it differs from person to person. The third aspect is body contact. Again, this is a very important aspect, and we'll go to this part also. That is, what are the body contacts that are allowed? For example, in most scenarios, a handshake is a good gesture, shaking hands. Okay, back patting also in some scenarios are socially acceptable, while in others this could be a taboo. Okay. But hitting somebody from the back, overlooking at their screen is always a no-no as far as body contact is concerned. Um, So different body gestures suggest, are you open? Are you stressed out? Are you defensive? Are you dominant? Are you feeling threatened? Right? For example, if somebody is standing with their hands folded like this, then it is considered as, I have a closed posture and I'm not open to listening to what the other person is saying, and I am not open to their opinion. Okay? Hunched shoulder explains that somebody is stressed. Leaning too far in the table or leaning too near also suggests that either the person is very eager or not interested. These are some of the examples of gestures and postures that one must be mindful of. The word paralinguist means that, how what your body is conveying vis-a-vis what you are saying. Are these two matching? This is what the word paralinguist means. As long as what you are saying with your words, pitch, tone, and your body language matches, then you are good to go. If they don't match, then people feel that there is certain discrepancy. Uh, we go back to, so we spoke about, there are other etiquettes other than the dressing. We spoke about two of them just now. First was the verbal element, how you speak, and the second one was non-verbal element. Now we are going to the other thing that help you make a very good first impression is, in both professional as well as in your personal setting, is two more things. One is proper introduction and proper handshake. Let's talk about introduction. This is called as ABC of introduction. A is equal to authority. Okay. Here, what we are saying is that you have gone to a meeting and you want to introduce somebody. Okay? Introduce your manager, introduce your team member, introduce your client. You are doing that role of introduction. Right? Now, in such scenarios, what are the do's and don'ts? First thing, first say the name of the person who holds position of most authority or importance, whom you want to flatter. That is A. A means the authority. So if you want to introduce person A and person B, whose name should you take first? It depends upon who holds the position, higher position. Okay? And whom do you want to flatter? So if Mr. B is at the higher position, then you say, Mr. B, I want you to introduce to. If Miss A is at the higher position, then you will say, Miss A, I would like to introduce you to. In this example, Miss Manager, I did like to introduce to you Mr. New Employee. Okay. Second, what is A we understood, which is on the how to introduce the authority. B is equal to basic. Keep it simple. Aim to say each person name only once. Okay. Third, provide C is for clarity. B is for basic. Keep it simple. And C is for clarity, which is provide just enough information to get the conversation going. Okay. The information should be neutral or positive. For example, Mr. X is our senior application specialist who has been called from headquarters to solve your issues only. Okay? So, what you are doing is clarifying who is Mr. X, what is his role, and why he has been called for this meeting or this introduction is required, right? So that is the C, or the clarity. This is called as the ABC of the introduction. So this is the first part that we talked about. Second part is the handshake movements. Yes. Now, as a professional, one thing that you will be constantly, asked to do or will have to do is called as handshake. An important aspect of meeting and greeting is handshake. What are some thing that you have to do while you are doing handshake? What are those handshake moment? One is when you are introduced to someone, you say hello, how did you? And second is when you say goodbye. Just a moment. The second scenario is when you have a visitor from outside your organization. Then you, of course, shake hands with them. When someone you haven't met for a long time, you're meeting after a long time, you do a handshake. And in most of the culture, handshake is a very common form of greeting. When you are entering a meeting or leaving a meeting, right, you do a handshake. And whenever you feel it is appropriate, you can do a handshake. Okay. Now, there are 5 S of a perfect handshake. Let's talk about that. What are 5 S's? First is smile. A smile can help put the other person at ease and convey a friendly and welcoming demeanor. So when you are doing a handshake, you should be always smiling, right? Not laughing, but really a smile on your face. The second is make an eye contact. We spoke about having an eye contact, right? Even you should not be staring, but at the same time, you should be doing an eye contact. Before extending your hand, make eye contact with the person you are greeting to establish a connection. Uh, your hand should be straight, while second S stands for hands should be straight. Uh, your grip should be firm. Now, a firm grip conveys confidence and sincerity. But be careful about one important thing, that you should not squeeze somebody's hand too hard. Second is your hand should not be limp. A very limp handshake feels an underconfident handshake. Uh, shake. So it's about then what you do, you slide your hand into other's hand, and the strength, like I said, should be firm. It should be limp, nor it should be knuckle cruncher where you are crunching somebody's hand. Shake from the elbow. right? You're shaking from the elbow, not just the wrist, but to give a handshake more strength and authority. And how long should the shake continue? 2 to 3 seconds. Okay. That's the maximum length, which is a desirable length for handshake. When you're shaking hands, you lean slightly. Leaning slightly can convey a warmth, a friendliness. But be careful not to invade the other person's personal space. We spoke about the personal space. Now we talk about like team impact. Okay. Now, uh, as each one of us grow in corporate, we as a leader also set standards, right? Any organization is defined by the way their leaders behave, or the leader dresses, or leaders carry themselves in the meeting. So, leader sets the tone, how they dress, how they groom and speak, and that becomes the standard. Now, let me give you a couple of examples from my own career. Now, in certain organization where I have worked, the culture is where the CEO, who is the head of the organization, uh, comes dressed in jeans and printed shirts. While we have been talking about power dressing, we have been talking about how to dress formally, because it is that particular industry. I'm talking about retail, where people dresses very casually. Move to an consulting firm. I have been a part of one of the consulting firms too, where the top management, the layer next, everybody comes to office dressed in a sharp suit, shirt, tie, right? They are extremely well groomed, and the reason being they are always interacting with the client. So it also depends upon what kind of standard that leader sets, and also what kind of industry they are representing. Right? Having said that, even in the industry where it is extremely casual, like I gave you the example of retail, when they also go for some client pitch, or while they are making a broad presentation, or while they are making an investor presentation, they also dressed in a formal power dressing manner. So while leader sets the standard of dressing, but in certain circumstances, it is always professional, well-groomed look that works. To embed grooming in the culture, right? Grooming becomes a part of the culture of any organization, right? In fact, certain organizations also have most of the organization, larger organization, will have a dress code, where the dress code defines how a person can or cannot dress. What are the things that are allowed or not allowed? And what is a culture? Culture is something that is, when a new person walks in, they see that people are dressed in a certain manner, and they also start following it, and that becomes the grooming culture of that organization. So the culture should be such that it creates an inclusive, practical dress code, which essentially mean not rigid, but it's a guideline. For example, uh, in Indian scenario, while tie is a formal dress code, in most of the organization, unless they are going for a client presentation or an investor presentation, there is no rigid dress code that one has to wear tie and work, right? Because of the climatic condition that we are in. Whereas, let's say in an Arab country or in an European setup, it is mandatory that people come dressed in a tie, especially when they are going for a consultant kind of a role, okay? Or they are going as an external consultant. Uh, Now, when a new employee joins the organization, it is desirable to encourage them or mentor them or give them feedback on their appearance. What happens is, as a leader, you might be leading a team where you will have fresh pass outs from college or you will have interns. Now, in college, the way we dress is absolutely different from way we are supposed to dress in a corporate culture. Hence, what they need is a feedback about the right way of dressing. So, two parts. One, you're knowing what is the right way of dressing. And second, you're giving the feedback to the people on how they should be dressed and helping them, mentoring them to ensure that they have imbibed the culture of the organization for which you are working. Most of the organization would celebrate, diversity through ethnic days, ethnic Fridays, or whenever there is festivals like Diwali or Christmas or any other such festival. They celebrate diversity with cultural dress days. Now, even in this cultural dress day, where people come dressed in their, festive finery, there are certain unwritten rules and codes that needs to be followed because still you are going to an office and there might be client who are present, right? Even the external client, when everybody is dressed in ethnic, in one of my previous organization on an ethnic day, we also had a simultaneous client visit. What client really appreciated was the way we all were dressed on that ethnic day. But even in those ethnic day, there were certain things that were no, and certain kind of dress were not to be worn. So now let's see some pictures. Pictures will speak more than the words. There are certain things in your demeanor, in your body language, in your behavior, in the way you carry yourself, in the way you sit in office, in the way you talk to people that should be avoided in the workplace so that you come off as a great professional. This is a very common scenario in workplace where a long, boring meeting and people are dozing off. Right. This is one very important aspect. Why? It's because it clearly shows that there is no respect for the speaker who is trying to speak. There is no respect for the ideas the other person is bringing to the table. That shows that there is no interest in the meeting. Hence, and the person who is dozing off is looked at as uninterested in what is happening and in the surrounding. Hence, it needs to be avoided. Invading a personal space of a colleague or boss. Somebody is working, you see from the back what this person is doing, or you try to see from the side what is he working or she working on, right? So this is called as invading of personal space. We know the offices are very cramped and many times when we are speaking it can be heard, but at least the screen space is one's own personal space, right? And unless you are invited to see something important in my screen, it is really a no to look into somebody's screen space, okay? Whether it is a colleague, boss, or even your team. This is interesting. Sometimes we have to sit straight, right? Now we slouch. This is a typical posture where we are slouching and working. Again, this is not college canteen. This is not park. This is not your drawing room. This is office, and hence slouching is a no-no in any workplace or any culture. Crossing your arms and legs. Crossing your arms signifies that you are closed, you are not interested in any opinion from the other, you are not interested in looking or hearing what the other person is saying. Hence, this kind of hand crossing and legs crossing is to be avoided in workplace. Uh, During the presentation, I also mentioned about the importance of making an eye contact because eye contact ensures that you are attentive, you are listening to somebody, you are, uh, understanding, right? But when you do not make an eye contact, it seems that you are disinterested, you are not paying attention, right? So there are two differences we also discussed. One is that you maintain a steady eye contact and not stare at somebody. So making an eye contact ensures that you are interested in the what the person in front of you is trying to say and you are trying to understand it. The second thing is while you should maintain eye contact, what you should not do is stare. Right. Many times we are staring at somebody and speaking, it almost feels that behind me the people are talking about. Um, 9 hours, 10 hours in the office, definitely it's a long period, but in corporate, you make your impression only once, right? So, what happens if you look bored, right? Maybe the work is not interesting. Maybe that day the meetings are really boring. Maybe that has been really a long day for you. Whatever may be the scenario, remember you are always observed. By whom? By your colleague, your manager, your bosses, your super bosses. And hence, if you look bored, what they feel is that you are not interested in the role given to you. You are not interested in the task, right? So, what is a absolute no-no is looking bored. Making nervous gestures like chewing your pencils, biting your nails. Okay, these are nervous gestures. See, each one of us in workplace at different times, because of different reason, may feel nervous. But as an adult, as a professional, our nervousness should not be seen by the others. Hence, those gestures that conveys that you are nervous should be avoided. These kind of exaggerated gestures. Again, what happens in workplaces when you continue with a workplace, your colleagues turns into your friend, and we do forget that this is no longer a office, and this is no longer a college campus or only canteen. This is an office, and we do such exaggerated gestures. These are again a no-no. Avoid excessive gestures. Many times, a boring situation, a difficult situation, a complex situation uh, 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 can be resolved when you just smile, right? A smile can do what 1,000 words cannot do, right? So it is good to smile, even though it might be a very stressful situation. It's a very stressful day. It's a very difficult day. So don't forget to smile. So don't be stingy with your nods and smiles. See, understand, everybody wants to hear their own words, right? When somebody else is speaking, it's a good practice to nod, because when you nod, what you are doing is that you are saying, yes, I am listening to you. Yes, I am understanding. We are human beings and we are not robots, and hence a nod and a smile goes a long way in telling, yes, I am listening, I am understanding what you are trying to convey. So, with that, we come to the last part, which is about what we covered today. So, today we started by talking about why our outfit matters as a professional and the dresses that we should be doing. It matters because we come out as a professional. It matters because it talks about the culture we represent. It matters because it is about your own personal branding, where you want to be branded as a responsible professional individual who brings their professionalism to the work. Then we talked about the key elements to look professional. And it touches every element of your being, starting from the dress you wear, the accessories, the shoes, right? And not only just wear, but how you wear. You can wear any shirt, any tie, but how those elements go with each other. And second, and the most important aspect is, are they neat, well pressed, creased, or not? Right? Then we also talked about a very, very important element of your looking professional, and that is your personal hygiene. Right? Because not being a professional in terms of your hygiene element ensures that it causes discomfort to others and impacts the productivity of the organization too. Okay. Then we talked about how to dress for success. What is a power dressing? And beyond dressing, also, there are a couple of things that we touched upon. The first is how grooming and etiquette can shape not only you, but your entire team's culture. So, when we talked about etiquettes, we talked about two things. One, while communicating, what is a verbal and what is a non-verbal communication, and how both of them are important. That is what we talked about. And then we talked about two very other important things that you will always do the moment you meet somebody. One is introduction, and the second is a handshake. Right? Uh, and also, as a leader, how you are going to shape your team's culture by giving them feedback. Okay. So, this is what we covered today. We also spoke about certain do's and don'ts of workplace etiquettes, like how do we need to smile, how do we not do loud gestures, how do we need to nod. So, all this is what we covered in today's session. I would encourage each one of you to write whatever questions that you had, and I will be happy to answer that.
So, ma'am, right now we do not have any questions coming in from the participants. So, if you want to elaborate any topic, you can do it in few seconds till they are writing the queries on the question box.
Okay, should we take a 5 minute pause for them to write those questions?
Yeah, so in that 5 minutes, you can elaborate anything if you want to elaborate upon. So till then, they would write in the chat box. So I request everyone, if they have any queries, they can write in the chat box. So ma'am will take up in the section itself.
Okay, give me a moment. I'll put up the slides again. See, while we stopped here, since we have a little more time, we can also add one more thing that, uh, as an individual who moved into the corporate life, each one of us does on a daily basis, and that is a business card. Business card. As you become professional, you will have your own business card. What is a business card? It's a card which tells about your designation, it tells about the organization you belong to, and it also talks about the role that you play and the address of your organization. Broadly, this is what a business card consists of. First and foremost is have it in a good shape. Good shape would mean it's not spoiled, it's not soiled, it's not rumpled, it's in a proper shape. Have it readily available. Ideally, there are cases available for these cards. Right? If you can put your cards in these cases, it helps you to uh, helps in making it, keeping it in a proper order. Um, be very selective about distributing. See, when you join any organization, you will realize that you are handed over a bunch of cards, which doesn't mean that we just go around giving it to anybody and everybody. We should be careful with to whom we give this card to. And also, there is a proper way of giving this card. I'll come to that in a while. That how you should hand over this card to somebody. Three parts. One is how to present, how to receive, and what to do with them. So, when you join any corporate, after your dressing, two, three things happen. You say good morning, or you greet somebody and you shake hands, and then you hand over your visiting cards. How to, so while you are giving your card, somebody else will also give you their card. Okay, so, how to receive them, and then what do you do with them? If somebody give you a card, what are you going to do about it? When you are giving a card, first and foremost, look the recipient of your card in the eye. See, like once again, very important to maintain the eye contact, but I'm not talking about staring at somebody. Make sure that the card is facing the recipient. So you give the card with your both hands, okay, but facing so that the person can read what is written in the card. How to receive? When you are receiving the card, you have to hold it with both the hands, if possible. So you are holding the card between your index finger and your thumb, like this, and handing over to somebody with the top of the card facing that person, so that the person is also receiving in the similar manner. Second, what do you do with the card? What do you do with the visiting card? Look at the card before keeping it away. Okay, this shows respect to the person and their rank and status and position. Why are you given the card? So that you know who this person you are meeting, what is their rank, and what does the person do in that organization. Uh, and hence, not looking at the card, not reading that card could be a bad, manners. So you just have to look at the card, read it. Many times, when you look at the card, you have to make a comment about the card. Example, oh, I see, your office is in the suburbs, right? Uh, my previous office was also in the suburbs. So, a comment like that, uh, I see your logo looks very interesting. So something, why do you make that comment? You make that comment to ensure that the person understand that you have read the card and is interested in that person. Then you place the card in your coat pocket, briefcase, and for a woman in their handbag. Uh, what is no for a man is to put that card in the back pocket because it is considered as offensive in many cultures. So I think this is what I wanted So this is what I added, and I wanted to talk to you about the visiting card culture also. So since we had time, we spoke about that part also. How to give card, how to receive card, what to do once you have received the card.
Yes, ma'am, we have many questions lined up. The first question is half sleeve considered formal or
Okay, if I have understood the question correctly, is half sleeve considered as formal? Is that what it is? Well, no.
yes, yes.
Half sleeve shirts are not considered as formal attire in most of the corporates. However, most of the corporates of the world has something called as casual Fridays. And in that particular day, people do wear half sleeve shirts. Or in some organizations, Saturdays are working. In such days, people wear half sleeve shirt. Other than that, in all other days, half sleeve is not considered as a formal shirt.
Okay, ma'am. The next question is in a situation when I am in a suit and electricity goes away, so what should be my approach?
When I am in a lift, or no, I am in a suit. Oh, okay. I am in a suit and the electricity goes away. Interesting.
Yeah.
uh, okay. See, firstly, let me clarify. In most of the all the corporates of repute, even if electricity goes, electricity there are generators, there are power backups, which comes back maybe 2 minutes and it is back, right? It is very, very, very rare that or maybe because of a deluge, maybe because of something happened to that place, that the electricity is gone for a very long duration of time. uh, Now, in such situation, offices would not have lights also, correct? And hence your meeting may not also happen, right? Your projector would not work. So in work environment, I haven't, in my 28 years of career, in various corporate have come across as a situation where light is gone for more than 2 to 3 minutes. Right? So hope that answers.
Okay, ma'am. So the next question is in an unstructured environment, to what extent dressing affects networking? Professional dressed shabbily but with a meticulous skills of taking makes more impact on networking. Any thought on that?
Can you just, Charmi, can you just repeat the question, or is the question here also? Is it? Can I see it here?
Yes,
Uh,
in the chat box it is.
in an
Yes.
okay that okay, in an unstructured environment, to what extent dressing affects networking? Part one. And professional dressed shabbily, but with the meticulous skills of talking, makes more impact on networking. Any thoughts on that? Okay. So let's answer the first question first. It's a very interesting question. In an unstructured environment, to what extent dressing affects? See, I am not sure what you mean by the word unstructured environment. Uh, in any corporate, there are roles, there are people, there are functions, and people operate within those roles and functions, right? Now, whether it is or maybe you probably mean informal environment, probably unstructured, you probably meant informal environment. uh, Now, even if it is informal environment, I'm giving you example from my last stint in a retail organization, and I also mentioned during my presentation, even the CEO wears jeans and printed shirt, right? So in such an environment, yeah, because that's retail, and even in such an environment, we are not expected to dress up in a coat or a tie, right? Whereas I have also worked in a consulting environment where everybody, to the last person, to the junior most person, is in a coat and a tie. So, like in the last slide, we also talked about the culture of the organization. It is the leader who decides the culture of the organization. Hence, uh, so you decide which kind of an organization it is. Now, even in this retail organization which I was speaking about, while people were not wearing coat and tie, but the the people who were making impact, they were wearing smart casuals. It's called smart casuals. It's not scruffy jeans or a pajama to the office, but they were wearing smart casuals, right? So that is what is going to make an impact, and people would look at you with respect, and they say that this person. I remember one person who was so sharply dressed, not in coat tie, but in smart casual, that he was named as Mr. Smartly Dressed. And that makes a difference. Yeah, it makes a difference, right? Because people want to know more about him, want to listen to him. Now come to the other end, the flip side of this question: when professional dress shabbily. Okay. See, again, varies from organization to organization, but there is no excuse for just getting up from your bed and going to office. Shabbily dress would mean that. However, certain professions, once again, I will be very specific, certain professions like designers, hmm, or people who are in the creative world, they dressed very very differently from other corporate professional. They men comes in skirts, they comes with earrings, they come wearing skirt and brogues. So all this is possible only in a very creative world, in a where they are doing, in a fashion company, in a place where they are designing things, but not really in a corporate where you sell a product, where you, and especially not in a service kind of an organization. And really there is no excuse for dressing shabbily. Okay. So the next question I see is how would you like to read it, Charlie, so that everybody can hear?
Yeah. Yes, yes. The next question is, how does communication be crisp and confident?
So one aspect of first is the confidence part. Confidence part comes from the way you are dressed. The confidence part comes from the way you carry yourself. Your dressing always give you that confidence to speak. Second part, your knowledge about the subject matter. You may dress very well, but if you do not have the subject knowledge, considering I probably am addressing a CA fraternity, I'm sure all of you have an excellent subject knowledge. I'm not even questioning that. So your subject, and because you all are chartered accountants or would be chartered accountants, people look up to you. That if I have a financial problem, I'll go to you. So so I'm giving you that you already have that subject matter knowledge. That gives you a confidence, right? I know my subject. What can you ask that I would not know? That is part two. And the second other part is of being crisp, right? um, People lose interest if you go on meandering, going round and round, going beating the bush, as they say, going here there. What brings or ties the conversation together is that you are to the point and you are able to answer what the question is uh, asked. So your understanding of the question and answering to the point is what makes the conversation crisp. And for the confidence part, like I said, your dressing as well as your knowledge of subject matter is what is going to make you a confident speaker. Hope that answers.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. So the next question is, for a female, what type of formals are advisable? Indian formal or Western formal?
Um, See, there is no mandate that one has to wear a Western formal. I will give you many, many examples of women who are in Indian formal. Uh, uh, if you see, you know, uh, SBI chief, okay, just missing the name. She is now the head of Salesforce also, right? What is her name? And she's often, so she came to one of my organization to speak, and she is always in sarees. Okay. So doesn't matter whether you are in a formal Western formal or whether you are in an Indian formal. Sarees are Indian formal. What matters is how you carry yourself. Even if you're wearing a sari, have you draped it uh, very nicely, or you are wearing the right color, you are wearing the right accessories, and how you are very important in any kind of dressing is how you carry yourself. Wear what you are comfortable with. So if you are comfortable with Western formals, wear Western formal. If you are confident with Indian formal, go ahead, wear it. So I was referring to Arundhati Bhattacharya. Everybody knows her. She is always in Indian formals. But does she look less confident? Definitely not. Does she carry herself with less confidence? Not at all. You should listen to her speaking. The way she speaks, the way she carries herself, even when she is wearing a sari, it is exemplary. So it is not about what you wear, but what you are comfortable in. If you are comfortable in Western formals, go ahead, wear it. Do not wear it because everybody else is wearing it. Right? So, and people have risen to such a great heights even when they are wearing an Indian formal. So, no embargo on that.
True, ma'am.
Let's see the next. Yeah.
Is jeans not be worn in any gathering if the dress code says informal attire for an occasion?
Again, it depends upon the situation or the occasion for which you are dressing, uh, and the organization that we are talking about. Now, in a corporate where you are selling your service, which is essentially a consulting kind of an organization, so if you are going out with your colleagues for a drink or a dinner, jeans are absolutely okay. But the moment there is client, you do realize that they are not wearing jeans. They are in casuals, but in a in a formal casuals, right? They are wearing dresses or they are wearing trousers or a chinos, which is what they are doing, and not a jeans, right? So uh, it is not that jeans cannot be worn. Okay, many organization, like I just said, in retail, it was always jeans. Like I said, the CEO was also wearing jeans and printed shirts. So everybody wore jeans and printed shirts. It's absolutely okay. But again, I would suggest that you look at the scenario. Like I gave you the example or the case of the gala, where there is a certain dress code, and hence you cannot wear jeans. Right? It is not that you cannot wear jeans in any occasion. Even in an IT organization, jeans is an okay kind on a day-to-day basis. But the moment you are going to meet a client or you are interacting with a client, you are not supposed to wear a jeans. Right? You're going to give a client presentation. You're going to meet an investor and doing a presentation. You go dressed up as jeans and in jeans and hoodie. It is something that is not looked up normally. Right? So you have to decide the occasion, see the occasion, and then dress accordingly.
The next question is, can traditional dress always be worn in office?
Uh, now let's define traditional dress. If it is for a man, it is kurta pajama and it's not a casual Friday, then well, no, it is not to be worn. Even for a lady, salwar kameez or a sari or a western, each of them is considered as a formal clothing, and hence it can be worn. Now, what you mean by traditional dress is how it needs to be defined. If you mean it's a half sari, if you mean it's a lehenga, then definitely not. That cannot be worn in the office. Okay, because a it will look, you know, very outlandish. B, you will be very uncomfortable. C, everybody will be distracted looking at you. So yes, then it should not be worn.
True, ma'am. True. The next question is waistcoats are sleeveless yet considered formal. Whereas in corporate formals, you are seeing only full sleeves are accepted and even half sleeves are not. So in that case, can waistcoat be worn for a purely formal meeting?
For a man, you are wearing a waistcoat over a full sleeve shirts. So uh, now let me be very clear. In corporate, um, waistcoats for a man is worn beneath the coat. So basically, it's a three piece, right? So here you're wearing a trouser, a coat, a waistcoat, a full sleeve shirt, and a coat, right? So uh, generally, waistcoats are not worn only as a waistcoat. What do happen is that sometimes for a long meeting or a long presentation, people remove their coat and sit and work in their waistcoats. Okay. In current scenario, even women wear waistcoats, right? But they may wear it without the coat. Whereas for a man, it is mandatory they wear a waistcoat and a coat. But having said that, like I said, it's a long meeting. People tend to remove, after some time the main coat and sit in the waistcoat. Hope that answers.
So with this, we complete the session of our today's question round also. So with this, thank you so much, ma'am. And it has been such an honor to be a part of this wonderful webcast on outfits that speak before you do, organized by Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, ICEI. So on behalf of the committee, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our speaker, Mrs. Ranjana Sen, for enlightening session. A wide round of applause and thanks to the organizer, PSE's committee, for our today's speaker, Mrs. Ranjana Sen, and other stakeholders, the webcast a memorable one. Finally, we would like to thank all of you present here and helping us making this webcast a grand success. Thank you all.
Thank you so
Thank you, ma'am.
much. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Pleasure speaking to all of you. Thank you.